All right. I recorded that song back in, 1993, 92. But I wrote that song prior to that. And the thing of it is, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I just posted a post on Facebook. And this is what it said. Many of you have already seen it, clicked like, and you liked it and moved on. Yay. Woohoo. Well, the post goes like this. Life is not supposed to be what it has become. Feeding off one another, trying to outdo one another. Allowing others to determine who or what you are. I determined today my life will be an adventure from this point onwards. I refuse to remain in the status quo. I'm taking back control of my life. If I rise or fall, if I live or die, it will be on my terms, not someone else's. Let the adventure begin. Well, let me tell you something. I'm on just a bit of a rant tonight. I just want to let things out. I'm tired of the status quo. I'm tired of... Well, let me preempt this real quick. To all of my religious friends that might be listening, you may want to just stop listening right now because I'm going to use some colorful metaphors and I'm just going to be real with everybody, especially myself. And I'm just going to put it out there. So if you're not willing to just, if you don't want to hear what I have to say and some of the colorful metaphors that I may use, I encourage you to stop listening now. Hit the off button or whatever. You may unfriend me after this on Facebook. I really don't care. The thing of it is, it's time. We were not meant to feed off of one another. We were not meant to try and outdo the other person. The world in which we live in has created an environment in which you are controlled. Yes, you are controlled. You are being controlled. And whether you like it or not, you are being controlled. You don't believe me? Well, just try not paying that bill to the electric company. Just try not paying them their money. See what happens. Try not paying your house payment. Oh, by the way, if you own your house, try not paying your taxes on that house yearly. See what happens. It's time to take control of our lives. It's time to stop allowing those that are pulling the strings to pull the strings. It's time to cut those strings. It's time to rise up, people. It's time to stop putting up with the bullshit that keeps coming down. It's time. It's time to stop talking about it and start doing something about it. I watched our federal government execute a man in Oregon. Yes, he was executed. Why? Because he stood up against the federal government. Now, I'm not saying you should go out there and just put yourself up against the government. I'm not saying that at all. I do want you to know that God installed governments on this planet at the Tower of Babel. When he divided the people groups up into people, he changed the languages. And the whole reason for that the whole reason that God instituted governments within the earth was to keep things in check, to keep so that man could not get to the point that he was at when it came to that point. Anyway, things are things are just eating at me. The fact that that song that I kicked this show off with was a song that I wrote about the long and winding road, about, every day I go to work, bust my ass for some other jerk, spend my money before it's even made. That was 20 some odd years ago. And you know what? I'm still on that long and winding road. Even though, at some point, I stopped doing a lot of things that I was doing. But the things are still... We are a society that is controlled by money. And that money ain't worth anything. The Federal Reserve controls our money, and it prints our money, and that money isn't worth the paper it's printed on. There's no gold standard today. It's worthless. It's paper. Yet, we strive to get it. Why? Well, we have to get it. We, the common people, we have to get it. Or we're led to believe we have to get it in order to survive, in order to live, in order to have the things that we want to have. Well, let me ask you something. I was doing pretty good. Years ago, I didn't have to have a cell phone to run around and do the things that I wanted to do. I didn't have to have that. But today, it seems like you have to have it. You have to have the latest and greatest. Oh, look what's coming out next. Oh, let's get the new thing. Oh, look, a car. Look at this fancy new car. Oh my gosh, you want this car with all these safety features and all these wonderful things, all these extras? Well, you just give me $50,000 and I'll let you have this car. Wow. $50,000. And for that, you're willing to work your ass off every day, go to a job that you hate, spend time with people you really don't want to be around, just so you can have that $50,000 car. Or that house, that $100,000 house, that $200,000 house, that $400,000 house. Did you know that the bigger house you have, the bigger bills that go along with that house? Again, I'm just rambling. I'm just getting some things off my chest. Like I said, my life is going to become an adventure. I'm tired of the status quo. Tired of going to work for somebody else. Tired of when I get my paycheck, the money's gone. Why? Because I have to pay this bill. I have to pay that bill because, we have to have nice things. It's time for me to stop working for somebody else and start working for myself. Doing things for me and mine, and not for somebody else. Oh, Mark my words. I will be in business, my own business, shortly. No, I'm not going to feed off everybody else. But you know what? Hey, that's the system we live in, right? So if I'm going to bust my ass, I'm going to bust my ass for me and mine, not for somebody else. So be ready, because it's coming. I'm going to play another song real quick, just because I can. And it's a song that I wrote, another song that I wrote shortly after my divorce that I had back in 1989. The song title's called Living in a Nightmare. Sometimes, I was at a dark point in my life back then. And I felt like I was living in a nightmare. And sometimes when things get overwhelmingly piled on, it's good to visit those dark places as a reminder of just how low I was and how far I've come. So, without any further ado, here is Sonny Primo with Living in a Nightmare.
Life can be so lonely, comes so easy to me, searching to find someone, takes away my energy. I've traveled down that highway so many times before, listening to the radio, trying to learn some more. I'm living in a nightmare and I can't break free, waiting for someone who will really love me. Living in a nightmare, can someone help me? Running, trying to hide the feelings that I feel, rolling down the highway, hands front on the wheel, not knowing where I'm going, or which way to turn. Fell in love twice, my friend, both times I got burned. I'm living in a nightmare and I can't break free, waiting for someone who will really love me. I'm living in a nightmare.
in my life, I've been able to meet some very interesting people, some wonderful people. Uh, Thank you, Stacy. That's my sister, Stacy. She texted me. They're out having a good time. I've been sick for the past 3 days, and it sucks. Anyway, I've met some very interesting people in my life. One of which being the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And, I can call him friend. You know why I can call him friend? Because I didn't want to know him to get something from him. I wasn't out to get something from someone. Why is it that whenever we meet people, there's a tendency for us to come at people and think, all right, what can this person do for me? Why are we like that? Ted, I love you, brother. Can't wait to see you again. It's been a while. You're going to WrestleMania this year. Hey, I hope you enjoy yourself. That's a big stadium down there in Texas. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, by the way, that's where I was at. A lot of times we try to figure out what we can do to get over on somebody. What can they do for us? Well, you know what? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of thinking that way when I meet somebody. I'm sick of people thinking that way when they meet me. But you know what? We've been programmed to think that way, and it's time to change all that. You know what I want for humanity? I want humanity. The reason why we fight so much amongst one another is because everybody wants to get over on somebody else, and everybody else thinks they are right. Religious bullshit, things that don't matter. Let me tell you something. We're all going to live, and we're all going to die. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there is an afterlife. And depending on how you think will determine how you spend that afterlife. For those of you that think Muhammad is the greatest prophet of all time, well, I'm sorry, but here I go again saying that I'm right. Well, there are things that have caused me to understand that I'm right about this. And that is the complete story. The history of mankind. From the beginning of Adam. Well, actually, prior to Adam. But the battle that started at Adam's creation. At creation altogether. Where one wonderful, bright, and beautiful angel thought that he was more fit to run creation better than God. That he was more fit to run it than God was. And God just let it happen. He just said, hey, go ahead. You think you're bad? Let's go. Let it happen. And he trafficked his iniquity. He got many other angels to follow him. He took over the heavenly places. Put his angels in place of authority, places of authority. And when he seen what God did with creation and the earth, and that God had planned on living on earth building his house on earth to live with man. He wanted to control that too. And he usurped authority of Adam and took over the planet. But because God already had a plan to catch him in his own craftiness, God had an agreement. And Jesus was born. Grew up. And the very thing that Satan thought that he was doing to win cost him everything. When he crucified Jesus, killed him right there on the cross. But you know what? He gave his life freely. He went on his own. It's interesting how he ended up being, turning this into a story about Jesus. Because that's where I find peace. You see, when Jesus died on the cross, he came into this world to fulfill Scripture, to be the King of the Jews, to be the King of Kings. And every nation outside of Israel would have to bow down to him. And that's going to happen, people. It's going to happen. But something that the devil didn't count on was the fact that God had made a provision in Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, that in this dispensation of grace, this current time, this time right now, from the time of the Apostle Paul, when Saul of Tarsus got corrected by Jesus himself, till the time that we are raptured out of here. But us Gentiles, the only way we were going to be able to get anything was to go to Israel. But God had a provision. And during this dispensation of grace, right now, Israel and the things that God was doing with Israel have been put on hold so that God can bring the fullness of the Gentiles in. It's so that we, as the church, the body of Christ, are going to be put in the seats of authority, and we're going to knock out all of those angels that are sitting up there, the principalities and powers and mights and dominions, and all those that think they are something. We are going to be in those positions, knocking them out. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on about this, but that's just because I love you, and I don't want you to say that you were never told. Anyway, I want you to know that I'm tired. I'm fed up. I'm tired of working for somebody else and people not keeping their promises whenever they tell you, oh yeah, well, you know, we're working. You're going to start at this wage, and then after so many days, we're going to evaluate it and give you a raise, and then it never happens. I get tired of that. At least reevaluate me and tell me why I'm not getting a raise. Anyway, I'm tired of making somebody else rich. I have talents, I have abilities, and I know what to do. And I'm going to tell you that I'm tired of somebody else reaping all the benefits of my labor. And like I said, my life is about to become an adventure. I'm going to do things that I've always wanted to do. Things that I always thought, well, I'm never going to be able to do that. Well, you know what? Piss on that. I can do it if I want to. Oh, I'm telling you, life's too short to be the puppet. It's time to cut the strings and become the puppet and become the master. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let y'all go for now, but I'll be back.